Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Cleveland sports. Hoynes is here, and that means only one thing. The two greatest words ever said, play ball, are just about here. But so far, you know what? I don't really feel the excitement, mainly because I don't see where the offense is going to come from. But that doesn't seem to bother the national pundits, who are so impressed with the Tribe's starting pitching. They're almost 100% behind the choice of the Tribe's chances to win the AL Central. If so, it's because nobody in the Central is good enough to win 90 games, except Cleveland. The Tribe's outfield will give you almost no production, at least until they get different players, because what they have now is not what they're going to have later on. The first four in the lineup, Lindor, Kipnis, Santana, and Ramirez, should be fine, but if they win the division, it's going to be because somebody came out of the outfield, one or two players, and they produced offensively, and it was not expected. But right now, I just can't tell you which one or two are going to be able to do that. More Sports and Les Levine starts right now. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Tuesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine into our 23rd consecutive years. Seen exclusively on cleveland.com and seen exclusively tonight, Hoynes. Hey, Hoynes. Paul Hoynes of the Plain Dealer, cleveland.com.
How you doing, Les?
All right, welcome. Enjoy this cold weather. Although the weather's not that bad. You could stay another week, but you have to go down to Goodyear, Arizona.
Yeah, the Arctic vortex has passed us by. We all lived through it, I guess.
How do we do
Hopefully.
that? How do we change 70 degrees in a day and a half?
It's crazy.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. 216-575-0403 is the number to call, and you can call us, and you can email us during the show. The address you see right there. Well, you don't see it, but you will see it. That's reallesLevine@gmail.com. All right, Hoynes, you heard the open, and my contention is the Indians can't really win unless somebody comes out of the outfield, either somebody they have right now or somebody they're going to get. Am I far off on that, or am I about right?
No, I agree with you. They've got you got four guys. I guess maybe two great hitters in Ramirez and Lindor. Right. We know what Santana can do. We know if Kipnis does what he did last year, 18 home runs, 60 to 70 RBIs. You can live with that.
Well, he had a decent last half of the year.
But I mean, somebody's going to have to come through at the bottom of the order. Yeah. Somebody's, there's five more spots in the lineup.
You got a catcher. You shouldn't get production out of that catching spot. And three outfielders. I have no idea who you're going to get out of
Leonys Martin, maybe if he stays healthy, if he can play every day, that's a guy that could help you.
By the way, he's a lucky man, isn't he?
Very lucky. I mean, he comes to Cleveland with a chance to play every day.
Right.
He plays 6 games, and then he almost dies from a bacterial infection that knocks him out for the rest of the season.
Unbelievable. All right, we've been talking about it for the last several weeks. Any chance of any trade, or are they going to get into spring training and get into the regular season and then see what happens?
Yeah, from all indications, the roster they have right now, the 40-man roster, is the one they'll take to camp, and open when pitchers and catchers report February 12th. I still think there's got to be some guy that is going to drop through the cracks and they sign before the start of the season. A Melky Cabrera, a hitter.
You mean once Bryce Harper and
Machado
sign,
or even before that? I just I can't believe that Machado and Machado and Harper are holding up this whole market.
Right. I would like to see them get Melky Cabrera. You too?
Yeah, another switch hitter or a guy like that. I mean, there's got even Derek Dietrich. I mean, how much could a guy like that be worth? I mean, how much is he asking? I mean,
left-handed hitter, Cleveland kid, right?
He can play the infield, the outfield.
Right.
I mean, I think he could help you, but
don't you think with as late as this is going because of Harper and Machado that they have to fall through the cracks? You start negotiating with one guy and the calendar keeps moving.
Right, and these guys, players are creatures of habit. They want to be in camp. They know how, their spidey senses tingling right now. They know they've got to be. They know they should be headed to camp with somebody, and when they're not, I think that just creates the pressure on them to sign somewhere.
Yeah, they probably are tired of being with their kids by now.
Right. Let's go. Let's go to camp. Come on. See the boys. Let's see what's going on.
Because it's
That's
a camp.
right.
So, somewhere in the Truth and Reason, I said the Indians could win 90, and if they do that, that's not great, but it should be okay to win the division, I would think.
I think so. I mean, I think the Twins have gotten better. I think the White Sox, if they get Machado and Harper, obviously are going to get better.
You see both of them?
Well, either or,
yeah.
Because they've talked to both of them, and they seem like Machado especially, those are like, the Phillies, San Diego, and the White Sox are really the only three teams that really seem dead set on getting this guy.
Where did San Diego come from?
Yeah, they signed Hosmer last year for that big deal, and I think so I mean if those guys, but I think the Indians are definitely still the favorite. But like you and I have talked before, you can't win games 3-1 every night.
No, you got to beat
You got to
somebody
be able to
9-2.
hit.
Yeah.
You got to you score. I mean, great teams are great because they're usually above average at every position.
Right. Well, this team had all-stars at every position not that long ago.
Yeah, and look,
not now.
In '95, and that whole through the '90s, that was kind of their MO.
Yeah, I told you I saw the dynasty that almost was, or whatever they called it. First time I had a chance to watch it. You were tremendous in it.
Oh, that was fun. That was fun.
Where'd
to do.
they do that?
They did it downtown at one of the hotels downtown.
Yeah.
I think that's I think it was MLB Network. Was it MLB Network? Yeah, they did a real good job. But I know that's where they called me and that's where they interviewed me. But that was.
And they paid you $100,000. That is unbelievable.
They forgot to send me the check if they were paying me.
You know what happened? I won't tell you who it was till the break, but I did something for one of the national networks. They were doing a promotion across the country, and they were taking certain dates in history, and they had the people, if they were still alive. They had guys like me and others here in Cleveland and in other cities, and so we taped something, a half hour, and when it was over, this guy that we taped got $12,000, and I got a very nice golf shirt.
That's the way it usually works, right?
There's no question about it. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Let's check out MS&LL headlines for the day. Brought to you by Northfield Park, your home for live and simulcast racing. Kyrie won't be in town tonight, but the rest of the Celtics, well, he might be in town, but he's not going to play. Celtics take on the Cavaliers after getting blowing out the Cavaliers twice earlier this season. Lakers still talking, although I had heard earlier that they were taking the offers off the table. That would mean they're looking for a counteroffer in the Davis deal. Could you imagine him with LeBron James and then throw in somebody else? Would be tough to defend against, no question about that. You can follow us on Facebook by going to facebook.com/More Sports and Les Levine. In fact, a little bit later we'll get some of the results. We'll flash your pictures and your comments about our question of the day on facebook.com. Paul Hoynes and I return in a moment right here on exclusively on cleveland.com.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine. First things first. With two potential Cy Young contenders, two potential MVPs, and nothing in between, are the Indians wasting a once-in-a-generation opportunity? Corey Kluber was once the focal point of potential trades to bring Cleveland players to fill the tribe's needs. Now those talks have faded. The two-time Cy Young Award winner is signed through 2019 with team options through 2021. Trevor Bauer finished 6th in the Cy Young voting last season, compiling the best stats of his career. He refuses to sign multi-year offers, but he's not eligible to be a free agent until 2021. Most teams would love to have either Kluber or Bauer as their ace. The Indians are fortunate to have both. As for the bats, Francisco Lindor and Jose Ramirez both finished in the top 6 of the MVP voting last season. Both have made the AL All-Star team in the past 2 years and will likely continue that trend as the Midsummer Classic returns to Cleveland this season. Yet, with the losses of Edwin Encarnacion, Josh Donaldson, Michael Brantley, and Yan Gomes, the Tribe organization has failed to add adequate replacements to the lineup. Sure, the Indians are projected to win the Central Division, but is that good enough? Why would a front office that has 2 Cy Young candidates and 2 MVP candidates not finish the job by adding pieces to the team needed to become a world champion for the first time since 1948?
So what was pointed out there is what I pointed out earlier. You got 4 or 5 spots that on paper doesn't look like they'll produce, but that's assuming that Ramirez does produce. Why am I making that assumption?
Yeah, well, Ramirez ended this season in such a terrible slump,
right,
and carried it over into the ALDS. What did he go 0 for 11? And so I'm, on the plus side, you say he got it out of the way. We've seen him go through slumps before. He can forget this, and that has a whole new season to start over. And I think he's just too good of a hitter to let that carry over and affect him.
You'd hate to think that he is what they thought he was in the beginning, which was a utility player.
Right. I mean, and he's had such a great run. Right? 2 straight All-Star games. 2 really, even with that, whatever it was, 4 for 61 or whatever that end of the season, he still finished third in ALB MVP. So.
Tell me what Francona is going to do with the 5 main hitters we're talking about. How are you going to line them up? Because you had a couple of things. Last time that Santana was here, he was a leadoff guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Now you kind of bounced him back and forth.
Right.
Yeah.
But now with this lineup this year, because there's not much at the bottom, he may have to be a 3rd or 4th guy.
Yeah.
Then you got Lindor, who I think his ideal position is the 3rd batter, but he had a lead off, which is
right.
He'll be great wherever he is. What do you envision as the top 5?
I just think the top. I don't know. I think like most managers, he's going to put his best hitters at the top of the lineup so they get the most at bats.
Yeah.
So I think right now he's always had an affinity to hit Kipnis second, and I think he'll start that way. I have no idea if he'll do that, but I would think it would go Lindor, Kipnis, and Ramirez. If that's right. that's sitting there right there.
Then
but
Santana.
Then Santana, then Bowers maybe, and then Martin, and you work your way down from
Insert
there.
name here.
Yeah.
You confident in that, or?
No, I'm not confident, because if I'm Francona, I've got to, I'm looking at Lindor, and like you said, he can hit anywhere.
Right.
And if this guy is going to hit 39 home runs, like he did last year, he hit 33 the year before, 39 this past season. I mean, am I going to waste that out of the leadoff spot? I want to hit him 3rd or 4th then with that kind of pop, and if I've got nobody else.
Unless analytics tell them that the guys they have with him aren't really the guys you want there, so maybe you have to adjust.
Yeah, that could be it. But I worry about Santana hitting Santana fourth. I think I have not looked at the stats, but just from muscle memory, he has not. He seems to put a lot of pressure on himself.
Would you lead him
in
off?
A fourth spot? I wouldn't lead him off. I'd hit him fifth ideally if I could hit him fifth.
You like the fact they got him back?
Yes, I do. I think he's a better first baseman than Edwin. I think if you weigh Edwin, Encarnacion, and Santana, Edwin is a pure power hitter. He has the presence, and they don't have that guy now. They don't have a 30 homer, 100 RBI guy. They don't.
Did he leave the parrot here for us?
Yeah, at least they could have left the parrot. Maybe Carlos can feed him and adopt him.
The parrot may not know the difference.
Yeah, as long as he's getting some crackers and gets a trip around the bases now and then.
Somebody asked me today on radio, 92.3 The Fan, little plug, about Salazar. Do you have any thought in your mind that he can help them in any way this year? And if not, why did they sign him?
Yeah, it's interesting. Francona told Joe Noga, he did an interview from a golf tournament, about a month ago, that there's no, Santana probably won't be ready to open the season. Just because of the shoulder surgery, slow coming back. And then when we talked
Not Santana.
What's his face, Salazar. And then when we talked to Antonetti kind of said, well, he's going to be thrown off the mound. We just don't know when he's going to be ready. And Carl Willis, the pitching coach, said the same thing. So I'm not sure. He's kind of stuck in limbo. But right now, I don't think he's.
But they put confidence in him by signing him.
Yeah, and I think they have a history of being so patient with guys, especially their starters. If you go down, Kluber, Bauer, Carrasco, Clevenger was coming off, Tommy John when they got him. So I think they know they can't go out and sign, a $10 million starter. So I think $4.5 million, which they gave Salazar, was a risk they felt comfortable with, even if he ends up in a bullpen.
All right, they made a trade today or yesterday or whatever for a guy that nobody here heard of.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be real honest, I have not followed the Miami Marlins.
Right.
that closely.
Nick Whitgren, right?
Whitgren, yeah. Tell me about him.
I know about as much as you do. I mean, he had like a 2.92 ERA last year, 2-1. He kind of bounced up and down between the minors. He was terrible in the minors at AA and AAA. He was 0-6.
Yeah, it looked like his big league numbers were better.
Yeah, his big league numbers were good. He doesn't throw that hard. Threw like 30 innings, 35 innings. He had. I'm trying to think.
Well,
I think he was 30 strikeouts, 15 walks.
It looked like one strikeout per inning.
Yeah, and he was okay. He probably walked a few too many guys, but he's pitched parts of 3 different seasons, and he became available. A lot of people were surprised. The Marlins signed Neil Walker to play second base for him, and they DFA'd him. They did Whitgren, and the Indians made a deal. I think it was a good pickup.
Well, we'll see. That's typical Terry Francona. Just throw stuff up against the wall, see if it sticks.
Yeah, and they've got like 50 relievers coming to camp. So they're going to find like 6 guys to pitch in front of Brad Hand. They'll find, and I think the bullpen might be okay. It seems to be shaping up a little better than I thought it was.
Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. You can catch all the excitement of live racing Monday through Wednesday, as well as Saturday evenings with a 6 p.m. post time. Open early every day for simulcast action from the top thoroughbred and harness tracks all around the world. Enjoy free handicapping contests all weekend long, including the popular Road to the Derby on Saturdays and the weekly Sunday contest featuring Gulfstream Park. Free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. Paul Hoynes and I return in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Your basement is damp, dirty, and not somewhere you want to spend time. Let Nature's Stone Flooring transform your basement into a true extension of your home. Nature Stone's proprietary hydrostatic ports allow water to simply evaporate, so no mold or mildew. Plus, it has a higher insulation rating than carpet and is warmer than linoleum, vinyl, wood, or tile.
Schedule your free in-home estimate easily online today and get up to 50% off.
Nature Stone is the affordable basement floor solution that beautifies your home. Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Today is the 5th of February, 2019. Hank Aaron, did you get to see him play live?
I saw him when he was in his career with the Brewers.
Oh, yeah. There's one day it was Gaylord Perry against him. Remember that one?
I remember him hitting a home run at the old ballpark.
Yeah,
off
Gaylord Perry, I think. Anyway, this is a pretty good day for birthdays. Hank Aaron, Roger Staubach, Matt Stick. My writers worked overtime on that. Roberto Alamarcina on the left, Terrence Ross, and Kelvin Benjamin, all born on the 5th of February. Time for a How Come Quickie. How come if you go the whole 9 yards, you still have to punt on 4th down?
I've never thought about that,
well,
but you're right.
Yeah.
Gotta go to 10. Get 10, let's go.
That's good. That's right. It was not 3 yards in a cloud of dust. It was 3.5 yards in a cloud of dust. Have you been awakened from the after the Super Bowl?
Yes, I have.
Were you in the camp of 3 people who thought it was a good game?
No. I thought it was interesting just watching. You know, I kept waiting for New England to come out of it to get hot and start rolling.
They only needed one drive and they got it.
And, like one play in the red zone by both teams. That was crazy.
That is unbelievable. I want to get to Leonis Martin in a minute, who we mentioned. This is from Tim. He says, hi, Les and Paul. After the great Indians teams in the 90s and the past 3 seasons, loaded, high payroll Indians teams, wouldn't it be ironic if a miracle happened? They made a big deal deadline trade for a huge hitter, and it worked. What if the old get to the postseason and anything can happen actually works out and they win it all? That would be the ultimate mind blower. You see that happening?
Well, you know, I'm a firm believer that if you keep getting to the postseason enough times, something good is going to happen. 97, the 97
have you been a Cleveland fan?
Yeah, but who thought the 97 Indians, out of all those teams, they won like, what, 87 games?
Yeah, I always said that was the worst team of the bunch. And yet, look who they had. Matt Williams on that team.
Right.
They had Marquise Grissom.
They had Omar. They had, Tomey, and I think Manny was on. Manny was
still on that team, but it was still the worst team of that whole bunch that led into the 2000s.
And 2016, you know, with that battered pitching staff. I mean, obviously, Andrew Miller helped, but 2 starting pitchers and they get to Game 7. Yeah. So you never know.
Yeah, I heard people say that they didn't win anything. When you get to Game 7 with 2 outs and you're down by 1 run, come on, what do you? What? Because you didn't make a deal in April?
I mean, I think I get criticized for this, but I think the journey is worth sometimes more than the actual final championship.
The journey of 162 games?
Yeah, and going through those 3 layers of postseason and dealing with the injuries and just getting there. And, everybody says, I won't be happy until the Indians win a World Series.
Yeah, but just get me there.
Just get there.
Yeah. When you think about it, though, the Indians in 16 were just so darn close, and it's hard to believe that maybe the rain had anything to do with it. I don't
I think, yeah.
What, stop the momentum?
Right. I thought, why are they stopping this game?
Well, they knew the weather.
It was like 5 minutes. Wasn't it a 5-minute delay?
But they knew that's all it was going to rain.
But God, I just thought.
Then you hear the Cubs side of it, and that they felt, they were in the clubhouse and they had to revive each other. They felt that if the game had continued, there's no way they would have been able to do that.
They had a come to Jesus meeting, and they came out, and the Cubs win. What's the first World Series since 1918?
1908.
1908.
But you're right about the journey, because you'll say, maybe you get into August and say, well, they're playing a team that back in April such and such happened. What happened in April has nothing to do at that point. There's not enough sample size to say what happened in April happens, will affect something that happens in June, July, or August.
Yeah, and just think what that 2016 season, Bauer getting his finger mangled by the drone and being out in game 3 or 4 of the ALCS, bleeding all over the mound. Ryan Merritt coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, from the backfields of Goodyear, Arizona,
right.
They bring him back, and he pitches good enough to clinch.
And you knew you'd never see him again, pretty much.
I mean, it just things like that happen.
All right, so you talked about Martin and what happened to him last year. Let's listen. He seems to be okay right now. Let's listen in.
I went home and stayed at home right after the game and started feeling pain. I don't know where. I don't remember anything else. Just seeing myself at the hospital.
And then, how long were you in there?
Like 2 weeks, I guess, almost 2 weeks, yeah.
And nobody ever explained to you how this could have, where this began, or?
Nobody came to me and explained me anything. Probably they did to my family or whatever, but I haven't heard anything about it. I don't know what happened.
And when was the date? When was that? When did this happen?
No idea.
All right.
I don't really want to remember that.
How excited are you about just the opportunity that exists here? That the outfield is pretty open.
Man, he's exciting, Like, I got sick last year, and then I feel like I want to stay here in this place, and I got to thank the Cleveland Indians to give me the opportunity to be back with the team and, be part of this nightclub and try to help this team to win the World Series, win the division first.
You know how good this team can be. You were in the division a couple of times. How excited are you to be a part of the team?
It's amazing, man. We got big chance to be in the playoff again, so that's important. And we got to go out there and do the best to be back in the playoff.
How much pride do you take in your defense in center field? That's one of the things you're pretty well known for.
I just go out there, do my best, try to do practice over and over and over to get better every single day, and and go out there, have fun, and try to do my best and try to help my team to win games.
Leonys Martin, he's one of the guys that has to produce, right? Out of the seven outfielders?
Out of all the outfielders, this is the one guy that's actually been a regular in the big leagues.
Right.
And I think a couple of years ago he played like 140, 150 games.
Right.
I mean, and that's what they need. They need a guy that's, now I don't know if they'll platoon him or, Greg Allen and him will switch off in center field maybe, but this is a guy that, if he's healthy and if he's right, he should, plug a big hole for him in center field.
216-575-0403. You can email us during the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. Paul Hoynes is with us. He's heading out to Goodyear. When are you going, over the weekend?
I'm going next week, the 12th.
The 12th. That's pitchers, catchers, and Hoynes report on the 12th.
They won't mind if I'm late.
Do they ever sign some guy to a contract and don't tell anybody? You just look out in the other fields and say, who's number 97?
That can happen. A couple of years ago, Uribe just kind of wandered in from camp into spring training. Another time, Napoli last year kind of walked in the back door. Same with Raja, Raja Davis when they re-signed him. And I'm trying to think of, he was the opening day outfielder in 2016. Played with the Reds. He played with the Phillies.
Cowgill?
No, it was the big guy, the power hitter, the guy that got busted for PEDs. I can't think of his name. But we saw him walking out. He came into the Indians in late March.
Right.
And we're sitting there writing, and he's walking out after meeting with the Indians into the parking lot to drive back to take his physical or something. And we saw him, and we ran after him and got talked to him.
You had a scoop.
Yeah, and he was in camp the next day.
216-575-0403. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/More Sports and Les Levine. New content is posted each and every day. Hoynes and I return in a moment exclusively on cleveland.com.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes the dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
It takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling to bring the heat when things get chilly. Find us at 440-449-HEAT.
Let's check out today in sports history. This is February 5th. Back in just 2 years ago, 2017, New England Patriots defeat Atlanta 34-28, Super Bowl 51 after trailing 28-3 in the third quarter. Unbelievable. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Hoynes is with us. Did you come up with the guy way back in 16?
Not yet.
Can't believe neither of us can come up with it. While you're doing that, I'm going to go to Bill, who's in North Olmsted. Bill, good evening. Go ahead. Welcome back.
Yeah, I feel like a lost soldier here, Les. Ever since you went off the air, I haven't been able to get you. I'm just kind of freewheeling here on my call in.
Okay. What's up?
You've accused me of being a dinosaur, and I'm not very technical oriented, so...
Oh, yeah. If I can figure it out, you can figure it out. Come on.
I'll keep trying. I mean, 20 years worth of calling to you, I don't want to give up just yet.
Do you have a computer?
Well, I do out in Huron, but I spend most of my time in Westlake or North Olmsted now. So
computer. If you have a computer, you can go to cleveland.com, and it's real easy to find us. All right, Paul Hoynes is with us. Are you going to Goodyear, Bill?
37 years in a row coming up.
37 years in a row. You'll make the team one day.
It's the best week of the year by far.
Yeah.
Best week. Hoynes, when are you going out there? What was your time period?
Next week. Next week, going out with pitchers and catchers.
Are you going to be out there the whole time?
I'm going to go out, then I'm coming back, and I'm staying out for about a week, then I'm coming back and going out for the last week of camp.
Oh, I'm going to miss you. I'll be out there March 2nd to the 10th.
Hey, Bill, when you go out to, for example, you go to Goodyear, how many games will you see during that week or so?
Well, I'll probably see about 3 or 4 games not at Goodyear because we like to go around and check out the other locations.
Right.
But I think they have two night games this year, which is sort of surprising.
At Goodyear?
It's going to be kind of an interesting spring training. So many unanswered questions. I'm particularly interested in, I know your concern is the outfield. I think the relief pitchers and who's making the final roster.
Yeah, Hoynes thinks the relief staff will be okay because they got so many possibilities. Somebody's got to stand out.
They've got a lot of arms. You got Hand, Simber, Olson.
Well, hold on. You got a lot of arms. You have hand.
Hand, yeah.
Okay, very good.
I mean, they got.
Then you get roly fingers.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask Quincy who he thought the 7 relievers in the final cut would be.
Just off the top of my head, Brad Hand, Adam Simber, Tyler Olson, I think Otero. Then you've got Oliver Perez. That's 5. Then I think they're going to, they brought in a couple veteran guys. The guy they just signed from the Marlins, Whitgren, and that Jeremy Rodriguez, the kid they got from Washington. They've got Justin Grimm on a minor league deal from the Cubs, and they've got a ton of guys. They should be able to.
You got to make sure that they have their names on the back of their uniforms.
Yeah, what about Goody, Hoynesy?
I'm sorry, who?
Gray. Oh, Goody.
Goody, yeah. I forgot about Goody. They've got to see if he's healthy. They say right now I was talking to him at Tribe Fest. He threw a bunch of bullpens in November. He was feeling much better. Then he came to Cleveland in December, threw another bullpen, and he thinks he's 100%. He's ready to go. And if he's healthy, that's a big guy for them. They'll definitely he'll be in the mix for sure.
I think that's a plus because I don't see Otero helping us this year. I'm sorry.
But he signed. He signed through this year. So.
Yeah.
All right, Bill. We got to move on. Enjoy your trip. Let us know how it was when you get back. Okay.
I'll call you from spring training, Les.
That'll be great. Thank you. Bill from North Olmsted making that call. We appreciate it very much. Hoynes, you talked about the payroll. We got some graphics put up, and maybe you can explain some of the things that you found here. The payroll breakdown is that the Indians opened last season with a 25-man roster payroll of $135 million.
Yeah, that include obviously the 25 guys on the big league roster and the guys on the DL that are on the major league DL.
If they didn't unload some of the guys here in the offseason, the payroll would have reached up to $220 million by 2020. And why is that? Just the built-in clauses in the contract to
I think and if they didn't trade Encarnacion, if they kept Donaldson,
right.
and that's a lot of money. That's over the luxury tax.
Yeah,
so.
well, they made a run for it with McDonald at the end, not McDonald, Donaldson. They thought he was the guy that would have put him over. Indians are expected to open 2019 with a payroll between 117 and 120.
Yeah, I think it depends, what Bauer gets in arbitration. He's at 13. They're at 11, and I think they've got with Bauer right now, they're probably right around 107, 100, 110, 111 million.
There's still no chance that Bauer will accept any kind of an offer, couple years extension.
He could. I mean, he's on record as saying he wants to go 1 year at a time, but
nobody's ever done that.
I know.
But I guess if somebody's going to do it, it would be him.
No one has ever done a lot of things Trevor has done. So,
but he can pitch.
He can pitch.
I'm coming around on him. I didn't like him in the beginning.
Yeah, but he's had 2 great years.
Yeah,
he really has.
No question about
that. If he didn't get hurt last year, his numbers would have been really, really out of. He's a Cy Young contender right there.
216-575-0403. We're just 10 minutes, 15 minutes away from a Paul Hoynes rant, the final rant before he goes to Goodyear. That's usually a great one. I don't want to put pressure on you.
I don't know.
Did you practice it? Arms flailing on your way from Menor?
Trying to practice. It's a little dangerous with me.
How many people tell you to roll your window down to see if you're having a heart attack? And should they call EMS?
I'm afraid I'm going to go off the road.
Well, officer, I was just practicing a rant for More Sports Les Levine. Oh, you're okay. No ticket.
No problem. Follow me.
Follow me, boys. There you have it. Sokolowski's University Inn. I'm going to be there for my Joe DiMaggio record, 100. That's about 457 Thursdays in a row I've been there. Joe DiMaggio. I wonder if Joe DiMaggio went. They've been there since 1923. What are the odds that Joe DiMaggio went there?
I bet he did.
I bet you the Babe did. I'm sure that he did. Anyway, Sokolowski's University Inn. the winner of every award there is to win. There's no question about that. You talk about food in Cleveland, anything. You make a list of it, they've got it. James Beard Foundation Award. That happened about 3 years ago. Only 5 restaurants in the country get it each and every year. Mike and Bernie Sokolowski's University Inn. Hoynes and I come back in a moment. Don't forget the Paul Hoynes rant coming up in the last segment, right here, exclusively on cleveland.com.
The concrete in your garage is uneven, cracked, pitted, and just plain ugly. Transform your garage into a welcoming entryway with Nature Stone flooring. Reduce tracked-in dirt. Eliminate puddling and salt damage. Plus, Nature Stone corrects uneven concrete so you don't have to worry about tripping or slipping.
Call or go to naturestone.com to schedule your free in-home estimate today and get up to 50% off.
Nature Stone is the affordable garage floor solution that beautifies your home. Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
This date in Les Levine history, 1959, Hoynesy. Les looks for his Rocky Colavito baseball card, then realizes he put it in the spokes of his bicycle.
Oh.
At least he knows the real Rocky Colavito would always be a Cleveland Indian. Unfortunately, the following year, Frank Lane traded him to Detroit.
I remember that day he got traded. I could not believe
it was horrible, and they were playing Detroit and Cleveland. We were going to play on opening day at right after that.
My cousin told me that, and I couldn't believe it.
Told you he was traded?
Yeah, and I was dumbfounded. I said, there's no way they trade Rocky Colavito.
Well, you know, he went on and hit 42 homers that year with Detroit. But if you forget that it's Colavito, because he was so popular, you can make an argument that in the 50s and 60s, the way the game was played, that you might want to consider having the league's leading hitter instead of the home run hitter. And Harvey Kane was the
he was a batting champ.
He was a batting champ and hit 302 with the Indians, and then Frank Lane traded him to San Francisco, I think. But you couldn't make the argument today, a guy hitting 40 homers versus a guy hitting 302, but the game was different then. Yeah,
and the batting average is taking such a beating, you know, in this age.
Launch angles and strikeouts don't mean anything. So. We had a Facebook question this week, today rather. We asked, talking about sports villains to Cleveland fans. And Andy says Kyrie Irving is the current villain for whining his way out of town, talking smack about Cleveland, and perhaps costing the Cavaliers more opportunities to win championships with LeBron. And if he decides to team up with LeBron in LA, that would be like spitting in the face of Clevelanders. That would rank right up there with what Art Modell did. Chris says Dan Gilbert is the villain right now for letting LeBron hold him hostage and then letting Griffin go. Now we're left with a shell of a team. Glenn has this to say: past, present, and future, it's always Art Modell, the biggest villain in Cleveland sports history, for moving the Browns. Moving a beloved team is the worst thing that can happen to a sports fan. And then Mark says, you know, Les, I'm not sure there really is one right now. The Browns' compass seems to be pointed in the right direction. Say what you want about Dan Gilbert, but he will always get a pass for bringing a championship to Cleveland. And while I think the Dolans will be somewhat vilified this summer, they are far from actual villains. Actually, the Dolan, we call him the Dolans, but it's Paul Dolan.
Yeah.
Has been the head over heels the last 15 years, has been the best owner in town.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Stability-wise, record-wise, and success-wise.
And look at how many teams want to hire Cleveland's front office guys.
I mean, there's like, yeah, I mean, this is like, this is where you come to get a general manager or assistant general manager.
Right.
There's like a tree. They're all over the big leagues.
Yeah, they called Paul Dolan and asked for permission from a team. One team asked for permission, and they said, "We're keeping our guys here, but if you call Les Levine, he'll work for you."
My biggest villain, Pedro Martinez.
Pedro Martinez.
Pedro Martinez.
Why? Because
he always beat the Indians.
He always beat the Indians. The one game he came out of the bullpen.
Oh my, yeah, and eliminated them in '99. Yeah.
Let's go to Gary in Sagamore Hills. Gary, you're on with Hoynes.
Hey, hello. This is the first time I got onto your podcast. I'm really enjoying it.
I appreciate it very much. We do it every day, Monday through Friday, from 6 to 7 live, and then you can log on after.
Hey, Hoynes, are you thinking of Marlon Byrd?
Yeah, we were just going to say that.
That's exactly right. That's what we were thinking. Thank you.
Drew a blank on it, and then we both caught it at the same time during the break.
Yeah, we saw him walking through the parking lot.
At 79 years of age, I remember about 10 things, and that was one of them.
10 things a day?
You're 10 ahead of me, believe me.
Yeah, if you only have 10 a day, I'd use them wisely, like timeouts in the NFL. I wouldn't use them all up.
Hey, Les, I want the brush, by the way.
Is that right?
Don't hold it against me. Yeah. Anyway.
So you can't verify that
I feel bad about. I wish they would have kept Brantley. I just found enough money to keep him. I really do.
Well, they had the money to keep him.
I think they could have probably kept him, but he was a free agent, and I think there was some question about his health, and the fact that they didn't offer him a qualifying offer. When they didn't make him that, I thought that was a dead giveaway that they had no intention of keeping him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree 100%. Right now, I think we won it last year by about 12, 13 games.
Yeah, 13.
Yeah. Okay. And right now, you're looking at Chicago and Minnesota. They're kind of loading up a little bit. So I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk.
Well, they're trying to load up.
Yeah. I feel the Indians will probably wind up doing something before the trading deadline or maybe even before they go to camp.
I picture Francona at the first spring training game, and he's walking up and down the dugout. I said, we have you and you and you. We have to get somebody else in.
Yeah, I think they're pointing toward midseason. That's when if they're going to make a move, if they're still in contention, they will. That's when this thing. That's the seems to be the plan right now.
Gary, my fellow brush arc, let me just make an observation here about Paul Dolan and how he operates. He doesn't make the deals or pull the trigger when he's a little behind and he wants to catch up. To quote Austin Carr, he puts the hammer down when he's got a lead. That's when he goes for the throat. Is that? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, if they've got to be in front.
I agree with 100%. I do.
Yeah, they got to be in front for them to make the deal. And right now they feel they're in front. So we'll see.
Yeah, my concern is if they come out of spring training and lay an egg. And have a bad, first couple of months.
Right.
The attendance will go right down the tubes.
Yeah, well, I think attendance is going to be iffy anyways. I mean, they've got the All-Star game, and that's going to that'll help them sell tickets.
Well, they package them together, right?
Yeah. But I mean,
April and May, you're never going to draw in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Unless you have a retractable dome. It's just the way it's going to be. I'll tell you what, and maybe Hoynes can do this if he's got a rainy day column that he needs to write. Check out last year's attendance after April and May. In other words, when you got to June 1st, I don't think it was bad.
No, I mean, they had like 18 games in April.
Right.
I mean, that's like opening the season in Minnesota on March 28th.
Yeah,
who would do that?
Yeah, we're going to give you the All-Star game, but first...
What team would do that, Les?
Yeah, we'll give you the All-Star game, Cleveland, but you have 100 games in April.
He doesn't use common sense.
Yeah. All right, hey, great talking to you, but I hate to rush you, but we got a Paul Hoynes rant coming, and we don't want to waste any time on that, that's for sure. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing, and you've got live racing. Catch the excitement Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as well as Saturday evening. Post time is 6 p.m. Open early at noon for simulcast action every day from the top thoroughbred and harness tracks all around the world. It's free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. We'll come back in a moment. Paul Hoynes standing by. Tomorrow night, Terry Pluto will be here. And on Thursday, the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff. Back in a moment exclusively on cleveland.com.
When my dad started Nature Stone, he created a solution for age-old concrete problems: unevenness, cracking, pitting, and more. Nature Stone solves all of these problems in garages, basements, and outdoor spaces. Nature Stone is beautiful, environmentally friendly, and affordable. Plus, Nature Stone is backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty.
Call or go to naturestone.com to schedule your free in-home estimate today and get up to 50% off.
Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Tomorrow night, Terry Pluto, cleveland.com, and the Plain Dealer probably has written 3 books since we saw him last week. He'll join us. And the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff, will be here on Thursday. You see us live Monday through Thursday, actually, from 6 till 7. And that, of course, on cleveland.com. Also, facebook.com/More Sports Les Levine with new content posted each and every day. We have come to the moment we faithfully await whenever Hoynes is here. And I think he's taking a week or 2 off to do his real work, which is covering the Cleveland Indians in Arizona. I think this should be your real work, just doing Hoynesy rants on More Sports and Les Levine.
Yeah.
What do you have for us tonight?
Les, nobody liked the Super Bowl. They said it was boring. 13-3, fewest points ever scored in the Super Bowl. But Les, you know what? They call it tackle football for a reason. Sometimes the guys without the football are just better than the guys with the football. They get paid too. They get paid. Their job is to find the guys with the football and tackle them. And that's what happened Sunday. And it happened a lot. Okay. You go into a Super Bowl and you expect pretty good quarterback play. Jared Goff had the worst game. He may have had the worst game ever of a Super Bowl quarterback. I mean, Super Bowl, you think Broadway Joe Joe Namath. You're thinking Terry Bradshaw. Jared Goff. I mean, that was a disaster. But still, lowest ratings ever. They said what? Lowest ratings in a decade for the Super Bowl. But it seemed like people were still. What were people watching? I was walking the dog around in our neighborhood. There were cars all over the place. There were Super Bowl parties going on, and none of my neighbors invited me, mind you. But what were they watching? Maybe it was the commercials. It could have been the commercials. The one I liked the best when Francona.
Give me a hint. You'll get it. Give me a hint.
Franco Harris.
Franco Harris and Francona.
Franco Harris brought back the Immaculate Reception. That was fun. I got that. I grasped it. I understood it. What I didn't understand was the Maroon 5. The Maroon 5 at the halftime break. I've heard of them. I had a vague recollection of them. And when they played their songs, okay, I remembered a couple of them. But why did the lead singer take his shirt off at the end of the concert? Was he just showing off his tattoos? I didn't get it. A long time ago, Janet Jackson had a wardrobe malfunction during the Super Bowl.
She did the same thing.
That's right. But this was intentional. That was unintentional. This was intentional. And speaking of intentional, Les, do you think the Indians are really trying to sell season tickets? Because they have intentionally kind of torpedoed their offseason. All they've done is trade their best players, and when they're not trading them, they've watched them walk away. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's, the way to build, to build the attendance. Of course, they've got the All-Star game, and that's going to help. But, you look at this. Melky Cabrera, Nick Markakis, Shoeless Joe Jackson. All these guys are either too expensive or dead for the Indians to get these guys. So where is this going, what are we doing here? And then, that'll help them win the Central and carry them into the postseason. But this is fraught with danger. Fraught with danger. Because the White Sox are getting better. The Twins are getting better. You can't. What if somebody gets hurt? What if Lindor gets hurt, or Ramirez gets hurt, or one of the top 4 pitchers get hurt in the starting pitchers? This is something. This is a dangerous thing. This is like the Maroon 5 guy taking his shirt off. This may be an intentional malfunction, and without the tattoos.
Okay, first of all, you're impugning my nephew, Adam Levine. That's number one.
That's your nephew?
No. But he borrowed my name. Most guys who have the name Levine change it for show business purposes. But that's not the way this one worked out. Fraught with danger. And most important, you had Terry Francona confused with Franco Harris. You had the Franco in both of them.
That's right.
You want to go on for another hour? I don't care. It's up to you. You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
The great Paul Hoynes. Follow him in the Plain Dealer and cleveland.com. He's heading down to Goodyear. And he'll also, when he comes back into town, if he's okay physically, we'll have him on the show. Great stuff. Great stuff. All right, travel safe.
All right, thanks,
Les.
Les.
Paul Hoynes of cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. That'll do it for us. Terry Pluto will be a little calmer tomorrow night, I promise. I can't promise about D-Man on Thursday. Here exclusively on cleveland.com. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.